Alright, yo, what's up guys? Welcome to take 2 of the settings video. Eunice kinda messed up the first take, which I'm gonna delete because it was kind of a disaster. So, this video, I'm just gonna be talking about my settings, sensitivities, custom binds, all that stuff. And I'm gonna be helping you guys figure out what you guys should use and just giving you some guidelines when picking sensitivities, picking custom binds, or even picking like graphics settings. So let's hop straight into it. And I just noticed my OBS is completely messed up. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but yeah. So anyways, we'll just get into the video. So window mode, this is going to be for, this stuff is PC only, so if you're on console, sorry, but I'll put some timestamps in the description for you guys to skip around if you want to, but I encourage you to watch the video through because you'll hear some more of my reasoning as to why I use what I use, and just like, you'll just pick up some good tips if you watch all the way through. So anyways, window mode, full screen. You all should be using full screen. It literally says here, in window full screen, you can switch easily between applications. Full screen mode, you cannot interact with other windows as easily, but the game will run slightly faster. Right there, slightly faster, alright? You get less input delay and more FPS when you play full screen mode. So, use it, alright? Resolution, I use 1280 by 720 because it gives me the best FPS. And my PC is not fully capable of running 240 consistently all the time, and this just helps it out a lot. So, like I said, 240 FPS. Just cap this at whatever your monitor's refresh rate is. So if you have a 60 hertz, 60 FPS, 144 hertz, 144 FPS, I think you guys get the idea. It's not rocket science. Brightness, I play on 50%. I think that looks the best. And I'll show you guys if, so let's say you play, I play like anywhere to like 85%. I think you should never go above 90% brightness. Like, I'll just show you what this looks like. Like, it just looks so bad. I don't know what is the deal with brightness in Fortnite. It just looks like the colors are so much, like the colors just look white. Like, there is just no like depth to any of the colors. It just looks so bad. So yeah, I keep brightness on 50%. If that's too dark for you, or it's not like vibrant enough, you can go into your into your desktop, your NVIDIA control panel. I've seen this only for you who have an NVIDIA graphics card, but you can switch your what's it called, digital vibrancy to anywhere from like 60 to 80%. I play on 85% brightness because I use an Acer monitor, and Acer monitors just have really bad vibrancy, so I play higher digital vibrancy. But anywhere from 60 to 80% should be good enough for you guys. But keep your brightness on 50%. This color contrast, I just keep it on 1x. I don't use colorblind mode. 3D resolution, I use 70%. It's just what gives me good FPS and doesn't make the game look too bad. I mean, 100%, you guys should be using 100% because, like, just looks so much crispier and everything is just easy to see. But it does hurt your FPS and your input delay. I mean, like, even though I'm in creative and I get really good FPS in creative, like, I usually get stable 240. Like, you can look up there, I'm not getting stable 240, and everything just looks, everything feels, just really, like, not as smooth, a little bit more delayed. So I use 70%, but use whatever fits your setup the best. So view distance on near, textures on low, that's pretty obvious. some people do play with like far view distance, which does help, but again, it hurts your FPS. So, and I don't have like an amazing PC for running 240 FPS. It was really good for 144, but 240 is just pushing it a little bit. So, uh, I just keep my 3D res on 70%, view distance on near, textures on low, meshes for performance mode. I play low meshes, as you guys have seen. I was kind of going back and forth because I really like the way that the mobile builds feel. Like, I mean, like the mobile builds make me look like I have decent mechanics, which I mean I obviously don't, but I am messing up a lot. But yeah, the mobile builds. I mean, like I can do some retakes. So yeah, mobile builds really good for your mechanics. Just I don't know. I'm messing up a lot, but trust me, if you have good mechanics, unlike me, you will be very good on mobile builds. However, there are some downsides to mobile builds, and aside from them just looking really ugly, there is another disadvantage that is actually going to affect you competitively. And to show you that, I'm going to switch to high meshes for a bit. So let's just load back in. All right. Start the game. I think you can already tell. Look at how much better the builds look. But just as I'm building, just pay attention. Look at how much more you can see when you're building. Like on mobile builds, it takes practice to be aware of your surroundings while you're building, because everything is just really opaque and grayed out. It's hard to see. However, the benefit is you get insanely smooth mechanics, whereas on regular builds, I mean, my mechanics are not that good. I mean, I can still do some stuff because it's creative, but in real games, you feel just an insane difference. And even even when you're not like actually building, when you're just standing in front of a fully built building piece, like let's say there's a kid in this box, I'm on his wall, I'm getting ready to fight him, I can see everything that he's doing through this wall. Like, I can see if he has his editing menu out, if he has his gun out, I can see where he's aiming. So this makes pre-firing so easy. Like, if you are someone whose game is like revolving around pre-firing and just like, if some kid, let's say he makes this edit, right here, boom, he gets shot because you can see that he is over here and he is going to edit out like that. Or if he makes a window, boom, same thing. So it makes pre-fires so much better. So like I said, if you're someone who relies on pre-fires a ton, then high meshes are for you. You can still get pretty good at pre-firing on low meshes, but it just takes a lot more practice. Like, I rely on pre-fires a lot, and I switched to low meshes, and it hasn't been amazing, but I'm getting used to it. However, downside, obviously. Uh-oh, that's never good. Uh-oh. Something wrong? Something. I don't know. Did my controller just break? I think it did. That's just great. I don't know what's going on with my controller. Might be a connection issue, but I'm not sure. That's awesome. So yeah. Let's switch back to low meshes and get back into creative, and I will be going through the rest of my settings. That was lovely. I enjoyed that a lot. Alright. Something just fell upstairs. Good. So yeah, disruption out of the way, let's get back into the video. So VSync off, show FPS on, performance mode. Those are all pretty standard. I think that's what most PC players use. If you're not on performance mode, just get on performance mode. Alright. Next up, game settings. So toggle sprint off, sprint by default on. Most people should be using sprint by default. If you're not, just turn it on. It takes like 10 minutes to get used to. Sprint cancels reload off. Auto open doors on. Hold to swap pickup. I like hold to swap pickup because it just means you have to go in your inventory less, because now you don't have to go in your inventory so much to drop stuff. You can just hold your pickup, or you can hold your pickup button, and it'll swap out whatever item you want to swap out. Toggle targeting. I don't even know what this does. I just have it off because it's been off. Mark danger when targeting. Again, don't really know what it does, but I just have it on because I've had it on for like 2 years. Auto pick up weapons. Just don't use that. You're a noob if you use it. Preferred item slots. I'll just show you my item slots. So yeah, slot 1 and 2, shotgun SMG, consumables, AR in the last slot. Pretty standard controller item slots. Next up, reset building choice right here on. I just had it on for like 3 or 4 years. 3 years, something like that. I just keep it on. Disable pre-edit is an amazing setting. I'm so happy that Epic put that in the game. I hate pre-edits. Need to have that on. Turbo building, obviously, on. Confirm edit on release. I like confirm edit on release, right? Like, if you're a really fast editor, then double edit binds are better than confirm edit on release. That is a fact. You can press another bind faster than you can release your right click. That is a fact. However, if you're someone who is not amazing at editing like me, and obviously you've seen I'm not the fastest editor in the world by any stretch of the imagination, just having editing be simplified to being just you let go of your trigger, you don't have to press another button, that is really nice. So if you're like an insane editor, then confirm edit on release will hurt you. Use double edit binds. But if you're a more average editor like me, just play with confirm edit on release. It'll simplify editing and it will make you faster. So yeah, confirm edit on release. I mean, it's a good setting. I like that it's in the game. Yeah. As you can see, I'm not a very good editor, but yeah. Use confirm edit on release. If you're not fast, if you're fast, use double edit binds. No one cares about these things. Replays, turn your replays off. They're just not good. They kill your FPS. And you can just VOD review through streams, recordings, anything like that. So don't use replays, or don't have replays on. HUD scale 80%. There's nothing important here. Reticle ammo indicator off. That's pretty much all that matters. Keyboard and mouse sense, no one cares. Controller sense. Okay. So we'll start with building and editing sense. I have it on 2.2 because Typically, you want your build and edit sense to be around 94 to 98. And what that means is you want your non-ADS look sense times your building and editing multiplier to be between 94 and 98%. So I've done the math on this before. I'm just going to double check it. So let me just pull up my calculator. And yeah, so my sense right now when I'm building and editing is 94.6. So on the lower end of that spectrum, but just between 94 and 98 is kind of the right move. It makes it so you can build and edit quickly, you can do all the necessary moves that you need to do, but it also means that you're not out of control. So, and this, you can adjust this. So let's say you play on 40-40, right? And you need to find the right build and edit sense. So let me just get my calculator back out. I know you guys don't want to be here in math class, but this is useful, so pay attention. So 40-40, you would need a 2.4 times build and edit sense. So right here, as you can see, I'm on 40-40, 2.4 build and edit. It feels very similar. It's a little faster because that is 96%, 40 times 2.4 instead of 94.6. So I'm a little bit sloppy, but overall, doesn't feel that bad. And then let's say you play on 46-46. Once again, you just plug in 46, and then you multiply that by 2.2, say. That's way too high. That's 100%. So you just go down to 2.0, and that would be 92%. So you just go in the middle, 2.1, 96.6%. So this one's pretty high. I'm not very good on it, but it's within that range where if you practice, like, you can get good with it. And, you know, it meets all the needs for what you need in a building and editing sensitivity. So now going on to the non-ADS look sense. So, like I said, I play on 43-43. It's just what makes my shotgun aim feel right. Like, it's a pretty standard sense. A lot of good controller players use it. But I'd say the best settings are anywhere between 40 and 46%. And you want to adjust your sense for your playstyle. So if you are a very defensive player, I would say 40 and 41% are good for you. It's a really slow sense. You can pre-fire really well. You can hit your shotgun shots, really heavy shotgun shots. So if you're in a box and some guy's pressuring you, you can very easily dispose of them. Sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. My brain's tired today. But if you are an aggressive player, then 42 to 46% is what you want to use. So if you're an aggressive player that uses shotguns a lot, then you want to be on 42 to 44. So I'm right in the middle there, 43. This sense is still slow enough to where you can hit a lot of shotgun shots, but you can also afford to keep your build and edit sense a little bit more even. And the benefit of having a more even building and editing sense is that, like, say I'm editing this wall right here, like, let's say I just edit it like that, and there's a guy on the other side. So I was just editing at a 94.6% sensitivity. So now when I go back to my 43% sensitivity to shoot my shotgun, it's still an adjustment. Like I edit and then I have to go back to a new sense, but it's not as drastic as if, say, you played 36, I don't know, 2.7. Like, that editing still feels pretty normal, but now this is compared to this. Like, this when you're editing, and then this when you're not editing. So yeah, 43 is what feels right. And it allows me to keep my build and edit sense fairly even. And then finally, if you are just a crazy psycho that loves to use SMGs, then 45, 46, maybe even 47% could work for you, because with how strong aim assist is at close range, you can still get away with, if you just jump in a guy's box with an SMG, you can get away with using 47, 46%. But I've seen that your shotgun aim will start to suffer a little bit at that speed, especially if you're on linear, because you'll be over flicking a lot and just overall not being in control. So obviously here, no boosts. Now ADS, this is interesting. So your ADS speed, ideally you want it to be between 4 and 4.5%. So this is just basic, like, 6th grade math. Take the percent by converting the percent into a decimal. So for me, 43, multiply that by 0.1, which is the same thing as 0.10, which is the same thing as 10%. So that is 4.3. And of course, 4.3 is in between 4 and 4.5. So once again, let's say you were on 40-40. You could use 10% because that's kind of at the really low end. Or if you want to go a little higher, you can use 11%. 12% is going a little bit high, but you could still get away with that. If you use 44, once again, 10% works. You could also use 11%. Wait, 44, 0.11. Yeah, no, 11% for 44 would be going a little bit high. So 10% is just really, really good. It's just a good value to have your ADS speed at. And for your boosts, if you're on linear, you want to use boosts with your ADS sense, because it makes your AR aim feel more like exponential AR aim. And exponential AR aim is just better and easier to control. So I use 5%, and I use a 0.20 boost ramp time, which means that the 5% boosts are applied over 0.2 seconds. So it's just really nice. It's not exactly like exponential, but it's exponential-esque. And it's just made my AR aim so much better on linear. Look dampening time, you don't want to use this ever. I'm on linear, so another thing I want to touch on before I keep going is Staggered Sense. So if you guys don't know, when I was on Expo, I was on 50, 60, then I was on 63, 70, and I think I finished on 63, 68. So, well, obviously I'm on linear still. Why would I do that? And then I had like a 1.6, 1.5 building and editing multiplier, something like that. So Do I think you should use Staggered Sense on linear? No. Right. On exponential, I liked a Staggered Sense. I like to have a significantly higher Y sense than X sense because it was just really good for flicking up and hitting headshots. However, on linear, because linear is just overall not as easy to control as exponential, having a Staggered Sense, it just feels really weird and flicky and just like bobblehead like. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I haven't used a Staggered Sense in quite a while. But I just don't like the way it feels on linear. I mean, I know there are linear players, like I know Slight's one that uses a Staggered Sense on linear. I just don't like it. If you can go ahead and try it out if you want to, but I personally don't like it. So, just getting that out of the way. On Expo, I would absolutely recommend a Staggered Sense. I think it just feels way more easy to control, way more just. It just makes hitting headshots a lot easier. So, I talked about ADS speed. Linear, I am on linear, of course. I did switch about 3 months ago. I want to say little under 3 months. But it is the superior sensitivity for me. I know most of my friends, I want to say 80-90% of my friends play on exponential. I know 2 people that play on linear. And I just think it is better. However, linear is only better if you consistently aim train. I do for my aim training routine is I do 15 minutes of aim duels and I do 10 minutes of 200 pump box fights. So that's 25 minutes of aim training every day. And when I was on Expo, I didn't aim train at all. I think I might have done a few aim duels in season 5, but other than that, I just didn't aim train whatsoever. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but exponential is just easier to control than linear, which I've mentioned before, but when it comes to aim training, that's actually really important. So because exponential is easier to control, you can still have pretty good aim without aim training. Right? You can get away with not doing aim duels, not really doing anything, and your aim will still get to a pretty good level. So if you're someone who just wants to play the game, maybe play some arena, play some tournaments, but you don't really have ambition of getting to the top and being the best, then play on Expo. But the thing with linear is that when you master linear, it is so much more rewarding. Like 2 months of doing pretty rigorous aim training on linear has made my shotgun aim 10 times better than it ever was on exponential. And obviously I'm not saying that you can't have God shotgun aim if you're on Expo. I mean, obviously Reet has some of the best shotgun aim in the world. Just out of anyone, not just controller players. But for most people, linear will yield a better reward. So the way I'd summarize the linear versus Expo debate is linear is better mechanics and it rewards your aim more if you take the time to practice. Expo is slower mechanics, but it is much better ADS aim and better aim overall if you don't practice. So linear takes more time to master, but yields greater reward, whereas Expo, you don't really need to practice all that much, but the reward you get is, I don't want to say nothing, but it's definitely less than linear. Anyways, dead zones, 9%, 9%. Don't copy my dead zones, alright? This is just what works on my controller. For you guys, it's going to be completely different. I mean, I know like some people play on like 16%, 15% dead zones. Some people play on 5%. It's just all about your controller and your thumbsticks and how much stick drift you get. So yeah, don't copy my dead zones. I don't play foot controller anymore. I used to when I was on Expo because it just reduced aim acceleration a little bit. But I mean, it doesn't really have a purpose on linear, so I just keep it off. Voice or audio settings, just have all this stuff on 90%. Voice chat on 100%. If I'm playing with someone that has like a crazy loud mic, I'll just put it down to like 80%. But normally, I just keep it on 100. Sound quality low. Any of this stuff, whatever. Visualize sound, I use visualize sound. I like it because you can see when people are healing, which I enjoy that a lot. To just know like, and it'll show you how many people are healing. So like if you knock someone and they got revived, you can see like the third person healing. Like you can see the footsteps and then the other person healing, which I find really cool. This stuff, whatever. No one cares. Oh shit, I think I just messed something up. Alright, yeah. Keyboard and mouse binds. If you want my binds, they're terrible, but here you go. Yeah, anyways, controller binds. This is the stuff that matters. So, here we got, and I'll just hold up my controller for a sec in my face cam. So I use an Xbox Elite Series 2 with all 4 paddles. So, there we go. So, we have my upper left paddle is my jump button. Shit. My lower left paddle is my edit button. My lower right paddle right here is my switch mode. And then my upper right paddle is my reload button. I play with both trigger stops on like the maximum. There. I use a Control Freak. I'll just hold up the front of the controller so you guys can see. Yeah, I use an Inferno Control Freak on the right thumbstick. So, yeah. So why do I use these binds? Well, the only bind I really need to explain is toggle pickaxe on left stick. I know most people will say like, oh, just bind that to a paddle. For me, I like my pickaxe on the left thumbstick just because my upper right paddle is like really uncomfortable for me to press. Like the way I hold my controller, I'll show you just my right hand. There you go. So probably can't see, but my middle finger is actually not resting on the paddle. So I have to take my right thumb or my right middle finger, sorry, off of where it is and then press the paddle. So, and it kind of causes my hand to like move a little bit. So basically the problem with that being bound to my pickaxe is like when I'm box fighting, I take out my pickaxe a lot, obviously, and it's just really uncomfortable for me to be constantly swapping back and forth my finger. And whenever I try to rest my finger on the paddle, it changes my whole hand shape, and it actually kind of messes up my aim a little bit. Uh-oh. So, yeah, that's why I have my pickaxe on my left thumbstick. Next up, build controls. I have my trap picker place interact on X, so I can place launch pads by pressing the paddle. That is so good, especially in endgame when you need to place a launch pad really quickly. It's nice to just be able to look around and press and place a pad. So yeah, nothing really notable here. Edit controls. All right, edit binds, whatever you want to call them. So I reset with RB and then I confirm with LT. So obviously, since I've confirmed edit on release, I only need to confirm edits when I reset. So the reason I chose these binds and this setup is because I like the rhythm it has like on my hands. So when I'm resetting an edit, I'll just hold my controller up again so you guys can see. So right, so this is how I normally hold it. So when I'm resetting an edit, it goes lower left paddle, right bumper, left trigger. Like I like that like left, right, left kind of pattern on my hands. It just feels the most natural. I've seen people do, LT reset, RB confirm. I've seen people with right stick reset. I've seen people like use paddles to confirm. These are just the binds I use because they're just what I find most comfortable, and they're optimal as well because I can do all this without taking my thumb off the thumbstick because obviously I use paddles. And yeah, if you want to use something different, go for it. I mean, I just wouldn't use the face buttons unless you play claw. So if you're going to use a face button, make sure it's bound to a paddle, so like your D-pad or any of that stuff. Just make sure that's bound to a paddle. Otherwise, stick to the thumbsticks, bumpers, and triggers if you don't have paddles or you don't play claw. So I think I covered everything I need to. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream, video, whatever you want to call it. Also, this stuff, no one cares. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Peace. Can I end stream, please? Thank you.